Hey, RPM Trade Vietnam in this bitch. What's going on today? Uh, Shout out to all my usual suspects, people that been following me for a while. Shout out to y'all for understanding. Um, since it's such a big, since it's such a big thing for what it is that I'm doing to be understood, for the positivity that I intended by doing what it is that I do. For the sake of all of that, I always like to be understood. I hate to be misunderstood because it's frustrating to take criticism that's inaccurate that you don't deserve from people who won't even bother to know who it is that you are and what it is that you're doing, what your presence is really about on social media. Um, People don't do their research. People just like knee-jerk reactions that are usually based on their emotions, a going trend, a skewed political view that ain't even rooted in no truth at all. Especially if you giving into the left-right paradigm about politics. If you think mob rule or majority rule is the best attempt that we can make at the idea of freedom, you're a weirdo. You're not even that smart at all. You couldn't even reconcile what it is that I just said in comparison to how you identify as a Democrat or Republican. How can you even vouch for this shit? How can you even stand up for it when you know goddamn fucking well that a two-party system? They always trying to throw this third-party shit in there. Fuck out of here, man. Anybody who wants a government gun to be pointed at everyone else to force them into a certain degree of taxation and then what that money is to be spent on in the midst of all this government business, you're a weirdo. I don't want that for nobody. I don't want the government to be threatening any of y'all to make y'all live the way I want you to. It don't even seem right like I should even ask for that. I don't even know where the expectation would even come from that this will work in my favor. If I do what? If I just vote. Like, this shit crazy. It's a flawed system. It don't sound like freedom, and I don't think nobody can even really defend it in that way. You'd have to give yourself to the game and just admit that it's a bunch of contradicting bullshit before you can even move forward with trying to convince me that the Democratic Party or the Republican Party are for black people. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I don't give a fuck about none of that. All you motherfuckers are evil. I wouldn't vote for my mama for president. I would be worried about who she has gotten involved with and what she's trying to get out of that. I wouldn't even vote for her. I've never voted, will not vote. Um, Voting is asking for me to choose a master for myself and everyone else. I don't have to ignore what it is when I describe it in that way because I'm not exaggerating. And I don't have to ignore what that is in order to just go along with playing the game, because people who will do that, especially if they recognize what it is that I recognize in this flaw, in this government illusion, if you go along with it anyway, you are the weaker person. Because what you know in your mind and what you feel in your heart is true in the idea of freedom. It's something that you can recognize that you have no footing, nothing to latch on to even begin to stand up for real, as if you actually care about it the way you pretend to. All of this shit is clashing. None of it matches. Ain't nobody keeping their energy in the proper fucking place when they express their discontent for government business, and then you go vote like this time is going to be better. That shit sounds weird to me. This is who I am. People not only make stupid little silly comments about my firearms not being top notch, which I never claimed to be. That's because they got this one track mind. They see a gun guy on YouTube and they're thinking, oh, I can see you with a firearm. Oh, you think your firearm is the best thing ever, don't you? Just like everyone else. It's like, no, dude, you misunderstanding me. I wouldn't give a fuck if I had a fucking 30-year-old gun with a little bit of rust on it. What I mean to do and say when I'm out here is to call out the government that everybody's so fucking scared of, and remind us and them that it's up to us when to pull the plug on this fucking experiment that we got going on in America, when we feel like they're overreaching, like they've done too much. And you can look through history and tell that they've long since deserved a revolution. That's not something that I wish. I'm telling you, this is my observation, and I think that if you cannot see the world in that way, this country in that way, and in its history, to know that it deserved a revolt a long time ago, and then you watching them do everything that they're doing right in front of you, you have to know that the jig is up and that it's up to us, or it's just going to keep going in a direction that they already broadcasted that they wanted it to go in. It's up to you to stop it. It's going to be nobody else's fault but ours for allowing them to do this, because the things that you guys pretend to praise and honor are things that you will not stand 10 toes on. You will not stand on business about that fucking Constitution, not about any oath of office that you took, Mr. Officer. You're a fraud. Fuck you. Same thing for the judges and the lawyers. They all guilty of U.S. Title 18, Section 241 and 242 violations. They're all felons that shouldn't be armed at all of them. This is the real truth that people just won't even face. And when you act like you standing on 10 toes to fucking handle this shit, and I see you fumbling in ways that you might even recognize, but you default to go along to get along, I'm going to call you a pussy, bro. There's no way that you're beneath me, man. Are you insane? You're dangerously ignorant. And I put this train of thought and this goal that I have with this open carry demonstration shit that I've been doing, I put that above any fancy gun that somebody has out there. None of that matters to me. It's not like I don't got a wish list of fancy fucking guns that I would love to have. And I'm working on it. I'm inside of a gun journey. I'm not at my final destination. What you think you see me with as far as firearms ain't even all my shit. You think I would show you all my shit? You guys are retarded. Use your energy for something else. You had a golden opportunity to reach out to somebody. And if you own firearms, I think you would like me if you just slow the fuck down and chill out. Stop trying to cast these stones of judgment, snap judgment at that, about some shit that's way too powerful for you to even fucking sink your feet in. You have no idea where you are when you find my channel talking that shit. You have no idea who I am. And I don't mean to sound egotistical about this. What I mean is to say that as important as it would be to stand up for the Second Amendment, if you got a gun, do you know what I mean when I say that? Okay, cool. Anybody who putting in the footwork to fucking defend that shit when it needs it the most right now in this fucking country, kudos to you, because it sounds like morally that's what we're supposed to be doing. Constitutionally, that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be checking them. And your Constitution says that. Stop being a bitch about it. Don't be mad when you hear me say it. But when you see these things being done by men and you ain't doing it, you got to pay some respect to that. So if you have guns and you see what it is that I'm doing, even if you don't completely agree with me, you should be like, bro, you're doing more than what I'm doing, and what it is that you intend on doing, it's something that I could co-sign to, something I could agree with. Yeah, tell them to back off of these fucking guns, man. I cannot be treated like a criminal for something that I did not do. So I don't care what a mass shooter has done. I didn't do that, and we're not finna play this game like I can be blamed for what somebody else did. None of this shit makes any sense at all. And a real, true morality wouldn't allow an honest man to look at what's going on and then be okay with it. I think you're a bitch if you're not upset enough to say something. Sorry, and I don't know, and I don't care how fancy your gun is. I think y'all are weird, man. Y'all are some pussies, man. This is what's wrong with the world, man. This is what's wrong with the world, man. And really deep down, it be motherfuckers that like got self-esteem issues for themselves. I couldn't imagine myself seeing somebody do something that I thought, especially if you bought a gun, you bought a ticket to the show, motherfucker. Are you taking this shit lightly? I'm not. I bought a fucking gun and I know what that means politically in this fucking country. And I'm trying to be a real fucking man about recognizing what it is that I've gotten myself into and what's at stake here. Being armed, being well armed in defense of yourself, especially when you got kids, is not somebody responding to being bullied. As a kid, somebody put in one of the comments in my shorts, definitely bullied as a kid or some shit like that. First of all kids go through a little something. I went through a little bullying myself, but I got the last word on every one of my bullies, because ain't nobody ever bullied me and did not have me confront them. It ain't never happened. I've always went out of my way to overdo a bully's attempt to bully me by letting him know he ain't finna do that shit. He can't keep doing it. He might have had me nervous. He might be more y'all than are me. And especially where I come from. I ain't come from the streets. But I came from streets enough that I grew up with people that end up dead, shot, killed, stabbed, murdered. Sometimes close relatives. I even got recent shit going on right now where a cousin of mine might be on the run because maybe he was involved in some shit somewhere. And this is crazy. And me and my cousin was like this when we was younger. Like I remember how proud we were to be each other's cousin when we did hang out, because we didn't see each other much, man. It's my cousin. And he done did some things. Maybe, I don't know. Word on the streets that he has something to do with something. And it's crazy. It's kind of violent. I grew up around a lot of that. I was able to escape it enough to know that if I indulge in that shit and did not try to rely on the intelligence and the self-expression that I seemed to be gifted with as a young kid, if I didn't take advantage of the opportunity to rise above some of this stuff, that shit was going to eat me alive, and I knew it. I was never fucking dumb and naive like that. When my people try to teach me lessons about life, about street life, going to prison, victimizing people, what goes around comes around. If you hurt somebody, somebody gonna hurt you. Don't get nobody no good reason to want to hurt you. Leave people the fuck alone. This is what my mom, my grandma, my uncles and shit, everybody always told me. And I listen to them when they say this shit, bro. I would have nightmares about prison when they would tell me stories about a life in the streets can lead to prison. They tell you stories, they give examples right in my family of people that went to prison. One of my favorite uncles went to prison. For them to get my attention to say, do not throw your life away to go to prison. About what? About trying to be so tough that you hurt somebody? Psycho. Don't do that. When they told me not to do that, I fucking listened, bro. I avoided the streets the best I could, man. Kept my nose in the books in school. Did very well in high school. Went on to college. I'm passing my college on the highway right now, the college that I went to. Cole College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, was right there. Graduated, got my ass up out of there, and it did something to me. It put me in an environment with people who weren't lost in a world of bad parenting, single home parenting, low income families. Desperate people do desperate shit. The kids be going through things, the parenting ain't well, so then the kids bring that bullshit to school, and then they act a certain way at school. And then when you getting love and you getting hugs and inspirational interactions from your family, then you go to school and some of these other kids ain't getting that. They can tell when you getting it, and they resent it that you getting it and they not. And some of these kids grew up in some broken homes, bro. It's not like my home was fucking perfect, but my mom and all my peoples always told us. There was times my mom would just bust out and she'd just be affectionate as fuck, out of nowhere. You know, lots of hugs and stuff, looking us right in our eyes. You know, holding our face with both her hands, telling us how proud she is of us, how handsome we're going to be when we grow up, and how much she loves us and all this other shit. She would do this sometimes, and I'd be like, this is awesome, this is nice and shit, but like, girl, you've been like in a mood today, like in a positive mood, in a loving mood. My mom would get like that sometimes, man, and it would make up for the times that it was frustrating for her being a 15-year-old mom when she had me in the south side of Chicago. This is who the fuck I am. I have a right to respond to my environment the way I want. As a matter of fact, considering where I came from, Southside Project, Chicago is where I was born at, bro. My grandma had to get us the fuck up out of there. She knew goddamn well, statistically, my mom being a 15-year-old mother and me being in the fucking projects in Chicago, man, we weren't gonna be shit statistically. We had low chances of ever rising above it because the environment will be much stronger than the will that we would need to get from home to supersede that shit. And broken homes make it guarantee that your environment will have more influence over you than your broken ass home, especially if there's alcohol, drug use, or any kind of abuse at all. That shit gonna get you, bro. It's hard to get up out of that shit. I navigated out of that. Shout out to my grandma for getting us the fuck out of Chicago. And shout out to my mom for balancing her frustrations as a young mother out with some of these acts of love. Sometimes, some days, man, she'd be extra lovey, man, extra. And I'm just like, you being super duper nice today. Man, look at, what is this? Because I've been pissing you off all week. But she knows that they're trying to balance that discipline and stay on us was making her be the kind of mother she didn't want to be. She didn't want to be yelling at us and be so negative all the time, and she would make the effort to balance that shit out, and it made a world of difference. It allowed me to forgive her and then to hold on in my adolescence to listen to what the fuck she's trying to save me from, right? Don't mean that I ain't never been in no street, nothing. Don't mean that I ain't got no friends, no nothing, no stories, no experiences, no nothing. People carry this shit with them. And what I did learn from the slight interactions that I did get from growing up in the hood, man. Growing up as kids in general, you ain't got to be in the hood, man. Kids go through this shit. Whoever threw this insult at me to throw that jab out there is crazy. Like, it shows me that there's a certain, you got a double-digit IQ. I know you do. You're not a smart, intuitive man. in tune with the truth of the world so that you can respond like a real man is supposed to respond to the truth of the fucking world. And the truth of the world, especially since I got kids, bro, I'm gonna make myself hard to bully. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. I don't know why the fuck that looks like a weakness to you. I think you're insane. I think you're insane, and I hope you're listening to me. I think you're out of your mind, man. You had the opportunity to actually talk to me, man, or to talk to anybody through the fucking internet, and this is what you choose to do. That's your first response to me. Look like you're being bullied. No. it looked like I've had to face the fucking idea that the world don't owe me no safety. That it ain't gonna be, safety ain't guaranteed to me just because I'm a nice person. I learned that lesson at a young age. And then I also learned that you can't just let bully people just get away with their shit. What's the point of that? Bullies taught me, don't be worried about an ass whooping. You'll get over it. Don't be scared to fight. They gonna corner you. What you gonna do? Might as well fight them. This is what bullies taught me. He said it looked like I grew up getting bullied like that was like it was a negative thing. It had to be a negative thing. Nothing can come from that but a negative thing, and it's just untrue. Nowadays, kids so fucking soft, you can't even disagree with a motherfucker without worried about how far he's going to take his aggression and the fact that you disagree with him. He'll stop even arguing, debating, and ironing things out, ironing your differences out. Motherfuckers will be so lost in like the shame of not being the one that's right. Feeling belittled just because another man just happens to be a better man than you and solving some problem, getting somebody, or being admired by other women. And jealousy, this is where this shit comes from. And you get put through some shit, some heartbreak early on in life. You start realizing that there's plenty of fish in the sea, that a girl breaking your heart don't mean you got to stalk this bitch, hit this bitch, or even be that fucking mad. Who gives a fuck? Find another one. When you go through heartache and you bring the right vibe to going through breakups at a young age, you learn to roll with the punches. You learn to be better at gaining attention from women and then learning how to take rejection. This is all the shit you're supposed to go through. And as this guy was a real man, he would know that what he said wasn't even really an insult at all. But I ain't never been completely dominated, stifled in my social movements because the bully had my shit on lockdown. Boy, we did all of the taunting of all of the bullies. I remember taunting bullies. Taunting them, man. After they bully me, I taunt you, bro. I don't care. I dare you to keep doing that shit, because when I go on you, bro, you're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised, man, because I'm going to have more fight in it than you, because you think it's a game, and my livelihood is on the line, because I can't just sit here and let you bully me. You think this is sweet. And now I got to act this way. Motherfuckers is crazy, bro. There's nothing wrong with making yourself hard to bully. Anybody that'll tell you otherwise is a fucking pussy. What a pussy-ass thing to fucking say. What a pussy-ass thing to say that when you see it, man, it's like, well, and honestly, I don't got to be no stone cold killer. Wouldn't want to be. Not even my style at all. But every man can respect a man that when you see him on sight for whatever reason. For anything at all, they can get you to come to the conclusion that this man could potentially be dangerous. Other men will respect you enough to know, at least just by looking at you, to know, though, don't try to bully this man, because he might make your life miserable. A guy that's going to bully him is going to have to be a fucking psycho. Who would choose this fight for no reason? You'd have to have your heart in it. It can't be for nothing. Who's going to just randomly bully this man? What for? How are you going to do that? There's nothing wrong with a man finding himself in that light and popping his collar and going, yeah, fuck you talking about? I just want to be hard to bully. If you think you're just going to run over top of me, it might cost you your life, and you need to know that, because I'm not playing. I got kids. I'm not fucking playing with no one. Cops move like this. A refusal to get bullied while they're out here to protect the people that cannot or will not protect themselves. They want to be the hero, but they are also not to be fucked with. If anybody wants to bully the would-be hero, they will happily and proudly put your fucking lights out. They're not gonna play with you, and neither will I. If that's so honorable in a police officer, we should insist that every fucking man actually act like that, and I do. In here, in my heart, I know that's where the true heart of a man is. It's to stand on what it is that he believes in, to be virtuous enough to never create a victim, but then also be diligent enough to say that he will not be bullied by no fucking body. Not easily. Good fucking luck. And that's a total man right there. The man that cannot create a victim. That won't do that shit. And that will be very, very much a challenge to bully. For no reason, I ain't did nothing to you. I don't even look like somebody that a bully goes, yeah, pick the fight with him. It don't even look like you should even do that over here. Who would do that? A psycho that would deserve me shooting at him in response to whatever the fuck he thought he was finna do. Good luck. May the best man win. There's nothing wrong with that. Anytime a man won't move in that direction, I think he's a pussy, and I feel bad for him, especially if you got kids or a wife or some shit like that. You got a mother. Nigga, you can be single with no fucking kids. If you are in a position to try to act like you're the superior man to me, but you are unarmed, you couldn't even successfully stop a woman from being kidnapped or raped or helping her keep her kids from being kidnapped out in public, and she was screaming for somebody to help in a tug of war between her and some stranger over her kids. If the stranger's got a gun, the mother's gonna be in the fight. But if the stranger got a gun, or if there's multiples, you would be a brave man wishing that you could fucking save a child in a position like this, and you won't go because you don't want to die. You would just go over there to die. You're not going to actually go over there to accomplish the goal, so why would you go? You would be scared to go over there because you would want to help, but you wouldn't want to fucking lose your life to help when you losing your life ain't going to stop them from also then getting the child anyway. Who would do that? I wouldn't even blame a man that wouldn't go do that. I'm like, goddamn, man, maybe there's another way to get this done without you fucking dying because he got a gun. You got your fist. You finna go over here and act tough to them, and why they finna shoot you in the face and keep on going with what they was doing before you showed up, bro. It just looks like that. It's a suicide mission. I don't blame a man for going, fuck. And then what do? You call a guy that does have a gun. Y'all some pussies. Anybody who wants to arm themselves for defense and nothing more should be proud to do so. You should flaunt your shit. You should let the bully know that it ain't just you, that it's other people taking on their own responsibility to protect themselves, and that bullying shit is just not gonna fly. Not in no free society, not in no real free society. That bully shit don't fly. I hope every time a bully tries some shit, they go, every time I trust somebody, they also have a gun. They shouldn't be able to get their shit off. And you gotta be the change you wanna see in the world. I'm hard to fucking bully, and I wish that the rest of the world was hard to bully too. RPM Trey Vietnam and this bitch Wu Bang get a gun. If you hate the side of me, you don't know what the fuck I got going on. You think I'm just trying to be a tough guy. You're not listening to me, or you don't care about the shit that I do care about. You want the government to win. You're a bitch ass pussy. You ain't gonna do nothing about the children that are being pushed through trafficking conduits, child protective services, over them fucking borders and all type of shit. You don't give a fuck about none of that shit if you act like you care, but you won't arm yourself to at least say, I won't go looking for you. But if I ever witness somebody trying to kidnap a kid in front of me, I will happily shoot the kidnapper. I will fuck him the fuck up. If a man can't care about the kids and then say, let the universe fucking manifest a crossing of the path between me and a child trafficker so I can get him. If it happens, it happens. What man won't say, at least let me be ready for that just in case that happens? I'll be proud to do that. If you won't do that, you a pussy. You won't buy a gun and carry a fucking gun, and you could. I think there's something wrong with you, and I'm not gonna hide it no more. You don't fucking talk shit to me when you talk to a fucking superhero. You don't know who the fuck I am, and anybody who don't like me will have to examine everything that I'm saying and what it is that I get on the internet to do. Call that the pussy fucking activity, and then describe it well so I can understand you, or else stay in your fucking place. Don't talk to me. Bitch ass niggas.